So one name that's been floated occasionally, and even by me, for the Supreme Court is you.
Oh.
And you have many virtues that make that attractive. And I have to say, when
Going to University of Chicago
that's
Law
one of them.
School.
Yes. But when both the what came to be the Sotomayor and Kagan nominations were made, I actually had written pieces suggesting Amy as one of the possible candidates. And in this particular instance, there's a special political virtue, given that you're a member of the Senate, which makes it a little bit more difficult for the Republicans to turn you down. So what do you think?
Well, we did plan to do this months ago, this day. So no, I love my job now. I've told you this before. And in a time of this tremendous polarization in politics and this sort of push and pull and almost a near people, in my mind, coming close to trying to destroy democracy, I think it's important to have people that are willing to stick with it and stay there for now. And that's my plan. I will say that I think there's a lot of work we have to do still in the Senate that's really important, and that's important to me. And there's one more thing I'd add. There are a lot of people, including graduates of this law school, that would be wonderful Supreme Court justices, but there are not a lot of people on the Judiciary Committee. And in fact, I think that the role for many of us as basically foot soldiers in this quest to make sure that our democracy stays strong and our branches of government stay strong, is that we have to push this fact and make the case that we can't leave this position vacant for a year. And I don't know who can do it best except people that are on the Judiciary Committee. And I'd add one more thing to this that people might be stunned by. There are currently more women on the Supreme Court than on the United States Senate Judiciary Committee. Yet there's 20-some members of that Judiciary Committee. So, you know, we all have our roles. So anyway, that's where I am on this right now. And I just think that there's a lot of people that would be wonderful justices. I also think that the president will make a wise decision. He certainly did with Justice Kagan and Justice Sotomayor. So I have a lot of faith that he'll put up a good nominee here.
What advice would you give him in terms of?
I thought I did such a good job answering that question. And
no, but I want to be a little more specific. I mean, what advice, given this particular dilemma that he now faces, right, which is different from what he faced with the Kagan or the Sotomayor nomination.
All right. Okay.
I mean, they were replacing other justices who were perceived as relatively liberal.
Yeah.
And so what is going on now is a potential fundamental shift in the makeup of the court.
Right.
Totally different from when Roberts was nominated, when Alito was nominated, and when Sotomayor and Kagan were nominated. They were all basically conservatives replacing conservatives or liberals replacing liberals.
Right.
The stakes here are really high.
They are.
And you can understand why the Republicans are as irked as they are.
Right.
So what advice would you give the president to try to get this to happen?
Well, I think he has to put someone up, of course, with impeccable credentials. I think there's, I just don't say it has to be a judge, but clearly there can be some advantage of someone who has been confirmed by the Senate with significant support. And then I think there's a good argument there. I think you could have whatever he does, it has to be someone that he believes isn't just someone to throw out there. It's someone that would be a good justice. And I know he will do that, so I'm not really concerned about the other argument, but I've seen people write about that in the press, that, oh, you could put someone out there for just a symbolic reason or something. I think he'll put someone that would be a good justice, because I continue to believe that we won't leave this open for a year, that this just isn't going to fly with the American people, and especially with the pressure that's going to be on there. To me, it's almost like shutdown type situation. We're just not going to do it, and you're not going to make us do it. And I think the American people will put a lot of pressure, and I think that there'll be some rethinking of this. So whoever he puts up has to be someone that we actually would imagine to be the justice on the Supreme Court. And I'm not going to start getting into names.